Talk and Rock Radio, where friends meet at the intersection of life, inspiration, and music. Here's your host, Rick Kern.
Welcome, everyone, to Talk and Rock Radio. Can you all imagine at age 12 what you want to do with your life? You start your journey and continue doing it at the same place in the same town for 75 years? My guest today is a lady that did that very thing and isn't planning on stopping anytime soon. Let me introduce to you from Conroe, Texas, the incredible Mary McCoy. Hi, Mary. How you doing?
Hi, Rick. I'm doing fine. I've heard so much about you, and I really and truly, I've been looking so forward to this.
Well, don't believe all of it, okay? Just the good stuff, you know? I have to say, Mary, that I have had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of radio personalities, but you, my lady, are DJ royalty, and I'm so glad to have you with us today.
It's such an honor to be here.
Please tell us how, at age 12, you already knew what you wanted to do with your life.
That's easy. I knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be in radio. That was my dream. And also, I wanted to make records. I wanted to sing. And the good Lord was with me and blessed me. I did just what I wanted to do. And I'm still there, just like that little bunny rabbit. I keep on hopping.
Well, you know, was the influence to do this, did that come from your mom teaching you how to play guitar, or how did that happen?
Yes, it did. When I was very, very small, my daddy worked on a farm at that time, and later we moved. He started following planer and sawmill work, and of course, we traveled. I'd go sometimes to 2 and 3 schools, during the year, but when we and then we came to Conroe. Well, I knew that I had found my home. And I told my daddy, I said, please don't move anymore. I said, because, and so he listened to me. And when the radio station wasn't on the air when we first moved in 49, latter part of 49, and in 1950, it started, my mother was listening to the radio, and she started hearing him text, and she said, Mary, I think a radio station is coming in. That was 1951. And so April of 15th of 1951, they signed on the air. Well, I had been singing on a talent show with private theater, and the manager told Jimmy Doral, who was the manager of KMCO. He called him and told him about me. And the second Saturday that KMCO was on the air, well, Jimmy had called me at school and said, I've heard a lot about you, Mary, and said, we'd love to have you on the show. Well, you talk about a proud little girl, but I was proud because I knew what I was going to do. I had to borrow me a guitar, the guitar that my mom had that she had been working and teaching me how to play. It was so bent up and scratched until I had to borrow one. Caught that big old Greyhound bus into town. I didn't weigh 100 pounds. And the bus driver, he looked out for me, got me on the bus, and got up to the show, which started at 9 o'clock. And then when that was over, Jenny asked me if I knew enough songs to record 15 minutes. And I said, well, I think so. And so I did. And he said, now I want you to go home and I want you to listen to the radio at 1 o'clock because you're going to hear yourself. So I was so excited. When I got home, I got just as close to that radio as I could get. And when I heard myself, I was so disappointed I cried. I thought that was the worst thing I'd ever heard before. And my mother told me, said, "What's wrong with you, Mary?" She said, "That you sound great." I said, "No, I didn't. And my career is over right now. I've been planning that career starting at the age of 3 when I was yodeling." Well, uh, we had said, "But that's it. I'm not going back." Well, next week, got a telephone call again. Said, "Guess what? We have a sponsor for your show." And so I had to, I said, I just can't imagine anyone want me to hear me sing. But he said, "Well, they did." But when I had to, and he's Brown Sinclair Service Station sponsored that. And when the show was it lasted for about 4 or 5 months. And by that time, I knew what else I wanted. I wasn't satisfied. I wanted my own record. I wanted to play the records of the artists that you hear all the time. And he said, in fact, they worked with me day and night. I was there a lot of nights at 9 o'clock. Of course, there was daytime. KMCO was 500 watts. And we had, but they did, everybody in the station, the newsman, the sales manager, they all helped me. And I wanted to do everything that I could do in radio because I love radio and I still love radio. And when we moved to Conroe, well, we lived in a tent. And of course, that didn't go over too well. A lot of the kids sometimes, at school, they could be pretty ugly to me. But the more they were ugly to me, the more determined I was to do what I wanted to do. And that's when I told Jimmy, that I wanted my record show. So they gave me a 2-hour show in the afternoon. I was on Monday through Saturday. And we had this is something you may not remember, Rick, I don't know. But back then we had what they call block programming. Maybe we would have a talk show or something where I did the KMCO birthday and anniversary club. Then we'd have another DJ come along and do maybe 2 hours of country music. And then we'd have another one that came on at 1. He played easy listening. And I'd wake him up at 2 o'clock with my hillbilly chorale, they called it. Well, I was on that show from the time that, goodness, I'm still on that show. Only I'm on now from 10 to 12 every day. I co-host a show with my partner, Larry Gallup, who we worked together for over 50 years. Wow. So, but I had, I made my records. I wanted to make records. I did everything I wanted to do, and I love every minute of it. My life has just been radio, Rick.
So in 1951, your dreams came true. You had your own radio show, 6 days a week. You're singing original songs, making records, and 4 years later, something huge happened at the Louisiana Hayride. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I was on the Hayride, and guess who I met? As a matter of fact, his group backed me on the stage, Elvis Presley, one of the finest people I've ever met in my life, besides you, Rick.
Oh,
and
God.
So, but that was quite a thrill because I was 16 years old at that time, and Elvis was 19. He was just beginning into his career, and then, but that night we were waiting to go on stage. We had some time, and he said, Mary said, how would you like to go get something to eat? So I said, well, naturally, I could eat anything. And I was sitting on the steps at the back of the stage. Well, by the time that I managed to make my way and get up, he had 15 girls behind him. And I looked at him and I said, Elvis, you have enough company. You go ahead. I said, I'll be here when you get back. So, it kind of startled him when I said that. I said, well, I'll never get a word in edgewise. So, but he did come back, did the show with him. And 2 weeks after that, well, he came, the Louisiana Hayride, they were going on a tour. And their first stop was Conroe. And they were high school football stadium. We had a flatbed truck set up for him, which we should have had. They should have had more than that because that truck was in bad shape. The bed of it was in bad shape. When they introduced Elvis and he ran and jumped jump up on the stage, well, he fell and had a harsh load and said that was the biggest knot on someone's hip he'd ever seen. I knocked him just for a second, but he did the show. That was the thrill of my life to get to work with.
That must have been the ultimate experience being on stage with him, Mary. All I can claim about Elvis is that in 1974, my band Tapestry shared the same sign with Elvis at the Sahara in Lake Tahoe, but we never had the experience that you did to meet him and all of that. He had the top floor of the hotel, and I think that was like a 8 or 9 story, maybe 10 story hotel. It was pretty big, Sahara Lake Tahoe, and he had the whole top floor to himself. And no one could get to him except whoever he wanted to come up to the floor and be with him, whether it was his girlfriends or whatever, but anyway.
Okay. What was so neat when he walked out on the stage, he had it was lime, kind of a lime green trousers. He had two-tone shoes. He had a white lace shirt and red sport jacket. Or coat, and all he had to do was just look at the girls and smile, and that was it.
Yeah.
But it was as a matter of fact, I had my second manager before I was in an accident and broke my neck, and of course that stopped my singing because and that's one thing I've always regretted. Because I used to sing at every place all the time. I was always working somewhere. But it was such a thrill though to get to see him. And like I said, that was his when he first got started. He was at Magnolia Gardens and I believe Cook's Hoedown. But it was just something I'll never forget. And I'll treasure those memories.
In 1970, Mary, there was an ownership change at the radio station. How did that affect you?
Well, it didn't affect me too. Of course, I hated to see that because I was working with the Owens family at that time, and when he sold the station, well, then we went to I went to K-Star. Which is, they had already contacted me and was waiting for me to come over there. And, but I worked in my radio career. I started with the Smiths. I went from there with the Owens. And the story I have to tell about this, when the Owens signed on their FM station, they wanted me to come to work for them. Well, I told them I couldn't. They said, why? I said, because a room, or rather a wall in that building is me. I said, because they took me in and raised me. And that's where my radio career was at KMCO. And then, but the one that bought the station, he changed. He bought KMCO to get me to come to work for him, and so then I was there, and then after then when Reeves sold the station, well then that was the Owens that time he had the FM. He bought KMCO to get me to come to work for him, and then when he sold the station, then I'm at K-Star now.
I think it's so interesting that, not only did you have a DJ role there, but you also had a second job at the station in the afternoon. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, filing the records.
And I think you were in sales also, weren't you?
I was in sales. I'm still in sales. I'm glad you mentioned the records. I was filing those records when I was filing the 78s. And believe you me, those 78s weighed more, I think, than I did. And I had, then the first day that the 45 came out, that was the strangest feeling to hold that little 45 record in my hand after the whole. Why, you could knock somebody in the head with those 78. It was something, but I loved every minute of that. And then of course, 1960, that's when I made my first record called Deep Elem Blues with the Cyclones. And then my manager was UMO. I went from there to Gabe Tucker, who was a manager for Eddie Arnold, and he was also working with Elvis's manager. And that's how I got in with Elvis. So, but it's been a life that, but then another thing that I was so pleased, in 14, which I was still in a neck brace, but they put my mural on the wall down to me. I was one of 4 legends, and the people and the people in Conroe. I've always said Conroe was my home, and that always will be. I was singing one night at the Esquire Ballroom, and someone had asked me. I took a break and was on. At that time, Kick was there, and they were doing broadcasts. And the guy asked me, said, "Will you ever leave Conroe?" And there was a guy standing behind him, didn't give me a chance to answer. I said, "No, she never will." And he doesn't know how right he was. I love the people.
I got to ask you, Mary, you while you were on the radio there, you were also interviewing many of the country stars.
Oh, yes, I was.
Talk about who some of your favorite interviews were at that time.
The very first one that came was Jim Reeves came to visit with us at the station. But most of all, Loretta Lynn. Loretta was the sweetest person I think that I've ever met. But Rick, I've had the thrill of going. I was in Nashville in the 70s. I went for about 4 years that I would go and interview all the artists at the Operaland. And there wasn't one that I didn't interview. Ronnie Millsap, Dolly Parton, Porter Wagner.
How about Tammy Wynette? Did you do Tammy?
I did not get to do Tammy, but I was at a show one night there where Tammy and George were together.
What year would that have been?
I want to say it was 70 or 71 that I was there when they were on a show. And but the one thing that I wanted to tell you about, when my first trip there, the program director was with me, and when we got off the plane in Nashville, he dropped the tape recorder, and my boss, Rick, he had told me if I didn't bring those interviews home, for me not to come back. Well, just as we get off the plane, well, he drops the tape recorder. And I told him, I said, look, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, don't worry about it. I'm going to fix it. Well, he didn't. And the next morning, I was sitting on the steps at the Opryland, and Jerry Clower walked to me. He said, honey, he said, you look like you lost your best friend. I said, well, I don't know about that, but I lost my job if I don't get these interviews. So he sat on the steps, and a nickel and a penny got me started.
Wow.
So
What I find so interesting is that all of these transitions from the different ownership of the stations and everything, you were able to stay there. And of course, here's a case of one guy wanted you so bad he had to buy the station. So I love that, you know.
Well, in fact, he was the owner of the FM station, and he had every week they would call me and want me to come over. And if he saw me downtown anywhere, if he'd see me when I was walking around, when I was selling my advertisement, he would tell me, he would tell them all, he says, that girl's gonna come to work for me. Well, that day, it was in 70 or 70, it was in 70, I saw him over at the radio station. And I thought, I wonder what he's over here for. And I found out later he bought the station to get me to come to work for him.
You mentioned earlier about your first song, your first recording, Deep
Yes.
Elem Blues.
I know I did that song. Huey Moe was, of course, it was I've been country all my life. You know, they always say you can take the country out of the girl, but you can't take the girl out of the country. Well, that fits me. I told them they put me with the hottest rock and roll band at that time called the Cyclones, and they were great. And we did that. Oh, Rick, that was the biggest thrill. Of course, I've had a lot of thrills in my lifetime that I could tell you about. But that was the biggest thrill of all. We would be driving along, and I'd hear the beginning of that song, and then another station would be playing it. It was just, they had to tie me down in the back seat because I was thrilled to death, but it got my foot in the door. And I had 4 records songs that I did for you. And then after that, I signed with Gabe. And of course, they were all country. But God gave me a voice to sing, and it just broke my heart when I broke my neck, and that happened to me because my singing ceased. But just like I told Charlie at Grand Ole Opry the night that I walked out on the stage, I told him, I said, Charlie, I said, the only regret I have is that I can't do something on this stage. I can't walk out and sing. That was my one wish. I said, but I can talk.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm so glad that you recovered at least to that point. Talk some about World of My Own. That is one of my favorites that you did.
Oh, thank you. That is my favorite song. That was my final session with Huey. And I love the song because it, my mom and dad, you've heard the old saying, we were poor, but we had love. And when we lived in that tent, that's where my music came in from my mother's side of the family. And and God gifted me with that voice to sing. And that it hurt me so bad. But when I sing that song, I think about my dad. And I did that before a crowd of 34,000 people at the Huntsville Prison Rodeo back in 1965. They sent, Roger Miller he was scheduled to be there that weekend, that Sunday. And for some reason, he canceled. And guess who they got? They came up and found me. I never will to this day. I don't know who. Of course, I guess they listened to me. I'm sure on the radio. I hope. But anyway, that was they liked me so well that they scheduled me for the next 4 Sundays.
Another one of my favorite songs is Party Girl. And of course, you today look like you're ready to go to the party. You look so pretty. And I know you got your red color on there, which is your favorite color and kind of your trademark. But talk about Party Girl. What was that song all about?
Well, that let me tell you, when I recorded that song, I was about 2 or 3 weeks away from the hospital with my daughter, one of my little girls. I have 4 precious girls, beautiful girls that I'm so proud of. And I had Slick Norris was the one that produced that record, and I did. I went down to sing it, and of course it was at a hard time because you really can't sing as good as you can if you're not going to have a baby. But anyway, that was, and I've had every place that I would go, I always had to sing Party Girl.
So that was one of your favorites also then.
I liked Party Girl. And when I was, my first record with Gabe was Ring on My Finger, that got, and Roses, Blue Roses. I got a lot of play for that. But
well, you recorded a total of 18 singles and 2 LPs. Were these spaced over several years, or was that pretty concentrated around the same time?
It was over years that, of course, I followed, when I did my first record for Gabe, Ring on My Finger. Then too, at that time, I had a singing partner that I worked with, Jimmy Copeland, and the Westerners, and we recorded together, and we got a lot of play. We did Kiss and Makeup, which went national for us. And I'm trying to think, there's so many of the songs that we did. We did great harmony together. It was kind of like, it reminded me of George and Tammy, because there's some people that you can, but we just Jimmy was working. He had a band and had been on different radio stations at the time, but we was together until we got. I guess, of course, he's gone now, but as a matter of fact, a lot of my people are gone.
Well, you had earlier talked about Gabe Tucker, your manager. Share with everybody, who all he managed. I mean, I call those people all A-listers pretty much. Talk about who he managed besides yourself.
He had the early years, he managed Eddie Arnold. And he was, if you can hear some music in the background, you're listening to Elvis. He's coming out on the hour on my clock.
Oh.
But he had, I can't remember all the ones but he had Jimmy. I signed contracts with him in 1967, and that was my first record for him. I met Gabe when I was 16, and he was at the station one day, and I asked him about, talked to him about, because he knew that I loved to sing, and he said, Mary, when you get out of school, he said, I'll be waiting for you. And so, sure enough, Jimmy and I were working a benefit one night for a policeman at Dance Town USA in Houston, and I heard someone playing a horn, and I turned around and looked, and I said, it can't be. Well, Jimmy said, well, Mary, that, because I was at that point, I was 30 years old. And he said, lots of water's run out of the bridge. So, but he came over to the table and he said, Mary, we're going to go to work. And I'll be singing you your first song. And it got a lot of play. But Roses really got a lot of play. Roses, Blue Roses.
In your writing, Mary, what was your main inspiration? What drove your songs?
Well, my inspiration was my mother and my dad. That my dad he was so proud, and so many. Well, it's just things that have happened over the years that, of course, I lost him. I lost him when I was 17 when I lost him, and I lost my mother back in 2001. But their dream was to see me do what I have accomplished, and wherever I am, whenever I sing, I know Gabe always told me. He said, "Mary, you express your feelings in your songs," and uh, that was true, just like World of My Own. That's why I love that song so much.
Fantastic. So this is the part of the show that I really got excited about. You know, your daughter Kim helped you create the Elvis Room. Of course, that was your deceased husband's man cave, I guess, but it got converted to to the Elvis Room. So how did all this come about?
Well, I had it upstairs, but I had so many things and it was so small that after he passed, well, she asked me, said, "Mom, do you mind if we swap rooms for the Elvis room and put it here?" And I wish you could be here, Rick, and she put the work she did on this. Not only has she done that, but I give her credit for when I went into the all of the places, the awards that I've received. I give her credit for that because the Guinness Book of Records, she worked for over a year looking at clippings and papers and everything about me and put that together. And she put this room together, and there's just, I just don't know what I would do without her. She got me on the Grand Ole Opry one, like I said, with something I'd always wanted to do, and she's my little manager.
Well, your collection there has got to be one of the finest Elvis museum collections I've ever seen. Where did you find everything?
Well, a lot of things were given to me. I have a clock that's in here. That was my first thing that came into the Elvis room. My son-in-law got the clock from Memphis. Big round, it's a beautiful clock, and that was my first. But I've had people to bring me so many things. Even I have one where I'm holding his gun, and that gun is bigger than that. That's the biggest gun I've ever seen. But and just I got one of his golf sticks. It just goes on and on and on. But it's just something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And even, and I wanted to tell you this to show you how much I love radio. When I broke my neck, I was in a halo for 3 months. And I told my partner to come to the show with me. I said, "Look," I said, "I can still do my show from home." I was in a hospital bed. We would work that for 3 months. I would work that phone down between, when you have one of those things over that halo, I look like Frankenstein. I had those big irons, have you seen those, Rick? The big, but anyway, but I did not give my show up. I was on the air every day. So that's one of the things I wanted to tell you about, just to show you how much what radio means to me.
That's so fantastic, Mary. Out of all of your collection there, God, you got so many neat things. Is there one thing that's your favorite, or do you have a couple of them that are your most favorites?
Oh my goodness, it would be so hard because they're just every one of them. It's just priceless. Something but back to my daughter, every time someone would bring something, she'd have to come in and organize. It was, but you know what? We got so many that I told her if anything else came, we'd have to put it on the ceiling.
Well, that picture that I sent you of the Sahara Lake Tahoe, if you want to take that thing and blow it up and put it above your toilet in your bathroom, I don't care where you put it. Oh.
Well, I will put that. Everything that's come in, I've had him to go and frame it, or it's something she'll find a place for it.
Have you shown any pictures of this to Priscilla? Has she seen what you've collected?
No, I wish she could. I know one time, Lisa Marie was, she was here and she performed at one of Do-Si-Do that's close to me, here in the Woodlands. And I had planned, and I didn't get to go and see her, but I was going to take a picture that I had of her dad and I together. And but I didn't get to go that night, and I regretted that because, but if Priscilla ever comes down in this area, you can bet I'll have her over here.
Good for you. You know, Mary, I've got to say, you have been so blessed on this radio journey, and I want to share with the audience. I've got a list here, and I know this is not all of them, but I'm going to share with everybody the awards that Kim had sent me about what you have received over the years, starting from 2010 to present. You were inducted into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame, Disc Jockey of the Year from CMA of Texas, First Legend of Conroe mural, 3 proclamations from the city of Conroe along with the key to the city, guest announcer at the Grand Ole Opry, Heritage Award from CMA of Texas. A bust of you will be placed soon at the Founders Park in Conroe. Guinness Book of World Records in 2023, Texas DAR Media Award 2024. And just last week, we learned that you're going to be inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame this year. Wow. That is so cool.
God's
so
been
cool.
good to me, Rick.
So cool. Well, you're very deserving, Mary. You've worked hard, and everything that's happened well for you, it was meant to be, because from the very get-go, at age 12, you had a path and you followed that path. You knew what you wanted and you did it well, my lady.
I thank you so much. I always believe, never give up what you believe in.
Yeah.
And I love people. I know that's one thing that why in Conroe, I'll always, even though we moved from Carthage, Texas, but Conroe and Montgomery County will always be my home.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention 2 of our favorite people that brought this show to me today. It's our buddies, Bernie and Melissa Sargent. I know they're there with you. I would like for them to jump behind the couch or behind you so they can get in the camera. One on each side of Mary there, if you can do that. There we go. There's Bernie and there's Melissa. Well, Bernie's way in the background, man. Why don't you get up front here, man?
They didn't want to see me jump, so that's...
Yeah, I just want to see you do your magic.
No.
We're so proud to have them with us.
Well, I am so happy for you guys, because these two people are favorites of me and my wife. We've had so many fond memories. We've gone to concerts together with them. We have been on the radio together numerous times. Melissa and I've even sat in her chair when she was out playing Six Guns and Shady Ladies. I've been her color person on the radio show here in El Paso. It's kind of what helped launch my existence in being a podcaster, was working with these two great people with you there.
They are wonderful, and they're such a great asset to us.
Well, we were sorry to miss, to lose these guys. They mean so much to us, but we do stay in touch with them. Now, I have to tell you, Mary, there's a birthday in the house today. It's Bernie's birthday today.
Yes.
Yes. I think we all need to sing happy birthday to Bernie.
Let's sing.
Let's do it. Happy birthday to you. Wait. Let's get a key here. This sounds like most birthdays. We don't want it to sound. We want it to sound. This has got to be good. You give me a note, Mary.
You lead, Mike.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bernie. Happy birthday to you.
I tell you, I gotta watch this woman. She's always chasing after my man.
You better watch out, Melissa. She's going to take him,
I tell you. Charmer. She's a great lady to work with. She's been a good friend to us, and just you have not know Mary. She's just everybody's friend.
The day that I met these two, I knew that's my people.
Well, I knew that, and Mary, I'm going to say in closing here, you are proof that you can conquer your dreams. You wanted to sing, and you sang. You sang to us. You wanted to be a radio DJ, and 75 years later, you're still doing it. You are doing what you love, and you love what you're doing. All I want to say, Mary, is keep this party going.
You bet. Thank you so much, Rick.
We love you, Mary.
Love you too.
Take care. All right, we're done.
Yeah. We're done?
We're done.
Did you want me to show some of the collection?
Yeah, if you'd like to, if you want to walk it and get some close-ups and stuff, then I can kind of edit that in.
All right.
That's good.
That's the full-size Elvis.
That is amazing.
We've got a number of stained glass items up there.
Really nice.
And then copies of the gold records. And I'll pan down here. Another full-size Elvis. More Elvis on the floor.
That's great.
And it just gets more and more concentrated. I'll get up a little closer here.
Oh, neat.
He's got 4 bookshelves packed with Elvis paraphernalia. I mean, this would humble Graceland, the collection she's got.
Oh,
now that you heard some music on the hour,
yeah.
That's the music box up there.
How cool!
Every hour, and an Elvis slot machine. We won't tell the ABC about that one.
No, don't. I had one of those too, but I sold it. We smuggled it in from it was smuggled in from Juarez actually, and it rebuilt over here. that was about 50 years ago.
Mary, is this you and your mom and dad?
Oh no, that's Elvis and his mother.
Oh, Elvis and his mother and father. Okay.
Oh wow, how cool!
I don't think I've ever seen that picture.
No, I hadn't either. But there's so much to look at in this room. I mean, we've been here a couple times, and I haven't seen it all.
That is amazing.
This is just one wall.
Wow.
Yeah, Kim's done a heck of a job putting this all together, I tell you.
Boy, she did. Is she there today?
Yeah, she's upstairs keeping the dog quiet.
Oh, okay.
And then this is a wall of, you saw that in the background of all of her awards and recognitions.
Yes.
We're gonna have her come down.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, that'd be neat.
Let me call her.
And then we got over here a full size. I shouldn't say full size. Here's the Graceland in front of the Christmas tree.
Oh my gosh. That is incredible.
And Christmas tree adorned with Elvis ornaments.
All the instruments there, all musical.
Now that purple clock up there, that's the one you got that you said started that whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one that really ignited her collection. We got a small bookshelf over here with a whole bunch more stuff on it too. Yeah, it's an incredible room.
Wow.
Walk over here and see some of this stuff.
Hey, that looks like my lamp almost.
There you go. An Elvisopoly game.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I got to think that he has a love for Elvis.
Yeah, I would think so. Wow.
Pretty cool. Yeah, Melissa's up getting Kimmy. So. Oh yeah, he's got that one. In fact, I think we sent that to him. This picture right here.
Yes.
Let me get. So
I'm putting that one up on the show.
Yeah.
That's
And
nice.
then there's a poster here. I get a little car sick as I'm walking around. There's Louisiana Hayride.
Oh, there it is. Nice.
Yeah. You can see him on the back of a truck right here.
Oh yeah, the truck that Mary was talking about.
Yeah.
How cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is so cool.
Where I was trying.
Okay.
Here's my daughter.
And here's young Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you. It's always great to put a face to a name.
Well, it's nice to meet you too.
I want to thank you for such a beautiful job on this fabulous collection. I tell you, I've never seen anything so great like this.
Oh, well, thank you. I enjoyed doing it.
It's really, really special. So, and I know you've worked hard for your mom and what all you've done to help her get where she is today. And we talked about that. So thank you for doing that too.
Well, thank you for doing this. And like I said, I enjoy doing anything to put a smile on Mama's face. So
That's great. That's great.
Mary's going to go get. She's got one more picture she wants to show you.
Okay.
And then we got. You can't sit anywhere where you're not sitting on Elvis.
You're going to be sitting on Elvis.
That's right.
Just don't sit on your face. We're okay.
she's going to get a picture of me filing the records now.
Oh,
the one
good.
I was 13.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, this is young Mary.
I love that. I love that. And you were 13 there, Mary?
I was 13. I just turned 13.
One thing that we didn't talk about, but, in your lifetime, you have seen so many changes in how music is played. I mean, you've gone from spinning 78s to 45s to probably 8-track cartridges to, it's all digital now though, right?
It's all digital, and I'm sitting on the flip side. I let my partner do the work.
There you go. There you go. Well, that could be a full-time job, just getting everything loaded in and archived and all that. Wow. That's crazy.
Oh, it's been quite and I love it, and I'm going to keep on doing it as long as I can.
Well, you go, girl. You keep it going, and we'll be here to enjoy everything that you do. So, and I'll be tuning in on the streaming channel to listen to you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm on every morning from 10 to 12, Monday through Friday. And then on Sunday, we do a country classic show from 8 to 10.
Okay. Good to know that. Well, it's not a matter of if, it's when Sharon and I get over to Conroe, one of my first things to do is to get over and meet you.
Please, you better. If you don't, I won't be hurt.
Okay. Well, it's going to happen. We'll make that happen.
All right.
we don't get to see Bernie and Melissa much anymore, but when we do, we're going to have fun doing it. So anyway.
You better believe it.
All right, guys. Well, it's a wrap. I want to go ahead and get this thing done and get a little editing squared away. I will have this out probably on Tuesday, so I'll send you the link to it, Mary, so you can see it.
Oh, great.
And
Well,
please,
I love you, Rick.
well, we love you too, and be, go ahead and share this on all of your media sources, social media, and everything. I'd love for you to share it with the world.
You bet.
Okay, y'all take care. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you, Melissa. Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting up with all of our insanity trying to get this put together technically.
Oh, no, it worked. Everything's great. It'll be fun to put this thing together, and we go from there.
I think podcasting via audio seems easier.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you guys take care. Have a good day. Don't party too much, Bern.
Okay, give Sharon a big hug for us.
I will. Take care, cuz. Bye-bye.
Adios, amigo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.